After the stunning 12-round fight between Joe Yabuki and Carlos Rivera, it was evident that these two boxers would never be the same again. Carlos Rivera was finally leaving Japan on a plane that morning. As he waved goodbye to the fans and Yoko Shiraki, he suddenly collapsed on the stairs of the airplane, something very unusual for a young, vibrant man. Even Robert was shocked, and Yoko looked as if something had gone terribly wrong. Meanwhile, Joe Yabuki stood leaning against a wall, watching from afar with a bruised and battered face. He thought to himself, "Take care, Carlos. I really hope you become world champion. But it's a shame we only beat ourselves to this point and never had the chance to be real friends." 1 month later, Joe Yabuki went to the Shiraki Boxing Club to meet with Yoko Shiraki regarding the Carlos Rivera fight. He was there to collect the second installment of his payment. Yoko Shiraki asked him to take a seat and told some staff members to get him a drink, but Joe wasn't having any of it. He said, "Yoko, my body is still a mess from that brutal fight against Carlos Rivera. Please, let's be quick with our business." Immediately, Yoko Shiraki took her pen and wrote a check for Joe Yabuki. When Joe saw the amount, it was 10 times larger than what he was supposed to receive. He frowned and said, "Come on, what's this supposed to mean? It's way more than my actual payment." Yoko replied, "I did this out of my feelings. It's just a small token. Accept it." Joe Yabuki grew angrier and said, "The fight between Carlos and me had nothing to do with money or your feelings. It was a brutal fight that earned Carlos Rivera a spot at the World Championship and reduced my body to a lifeless husk. You think we do this for money?" Yoko said it was just a donation, but Joe lashed out, "Cut the bullshit. Why do we always disagree whenever we meet? Reduce the check to exactly what I'm supposed to receive. Now." As Joe Yabuki and Yoko Shiraki were speaking, 2 officials walked in and said, "Miss Yoko, the message you were waiting for has finally arrived." Yoko responded, "That was fast. The match between Jose Mendoza and Carlos Rivera might have just started." The official replied, "No, my president, it's over. The match is over." "How? Did Carlos Rivera secure an early KO?" Yoko asked. The official said, "Unfortunately, it was Carlos Rivera who was KO'd by Jose Mendoza in the first round. 1 minute, 33 seconds. Carlos Rivera's manager revealed immediately after the match. Carlos Rivera didn't lose to Jose Mendoza. He was already broken down by an unranked Japanese boxer named Joe Yabuki. This news shocked both Joe Yabuki and Yoko Shiraki. Fear instantly came over Joe. He had ended the life of Rikishi, broken the jaw of Wolf Kanaguchi, and now ruined Carlos Rivera. And the saddest news was yet to come. After the match, Robert was asked by the press if he wanted a rematch against Jose Mendoza. He replied, "That would be a waste. Carlos Rivera is irreversibly crippled." Joe Yabuki turned him into a complete wreck. Joe Yabuki went home depressed that day, along with Carlos Rivera's team. The press swarmed him, calling him the Grim Reaper and the Destroyer. He felt so guilty that he didn't even respond. He had already destroyed the lives of 3 boxers.